When I first heard about the plan for a new arena to be built in Rancho Cordova that would host men's and women's indoor soccer, I thought it was kind of cool. I kind of dug it. And then I went to see just who was spearheading this project in Rancho. Joshua Wood.
And Dr. Luke Wood's twin brother, Joshua Wood. Joshua Wood has 2 handfuls of EL fudge that he just yanked from Sacramento State. When it comes to Joshua Wood, though, he's never held a real job a day. God help Sac State if the student body ever finds out what Joshua Wood is all about. Joshua Wood is the swamp.
Flip.
How does one describe Joshua Wood, though? It's a really good question, and the only way I can summarize it is by saying he's a fucking weirdo.
Come on, this cannot be related to Sacramento State. God damn it. Well, okay, here's the deal. Sacramento State President Dr. Luke Wood's brother Joshua Wood is the one behind this new arena in Rancho Cordova through his development company, a development company which has completed a grand total of 0 projects and has very little real development experience. Before we get into that, let's talk about what this arena is really about. And believe it or not, it has nothing really to do with an indoor soccer team, men's, women's, for aliens, for children, none of that. This isn't the end goal here. Word through the grapevine is that this is actually a Sac State off-campus basketball arena project. Now, the Wood brothers are not stupid. They know they couldn't collaborate together on doing this. Sac State cannot hire a company owned by the president's brother. It wouldn't fly. It wouldn't fly anywhere. Well, I don't know about that, but it's just not a good look. Indoor soccer. I mean, I cover just about every sport here on the channel, and even this league, the MASL, is just a little too niche for me. Teams come and go, attendances are nothing to write home about, and the lore of indoor soccer has mostly evaporated. It is awesome to play. I ruined both of my hips playing goalkeeper diving on the concrete floors at the Idaho Rec Center in search of an intramural championship that sadly eluded me and did my career up there a bit like Charles Barkley. That's not the point, though. I did a video a while back. I don't remember the video. I couldn't find the comment. I don't know the commenter, so if it is you, please take credit for it. Anyway, they basically said indoor soccer was a sport that had its moment in America once upon a time, but the sport has since faded from importance, from consciousness. It's just no longer relevant. However, the group trying to build this arena adjacent to Sacramento will sell potential investors on indoor soccer attendance. But at some point down the line, this discussion is going to become about Sacramento State basketball. Now, how exactly this plays out is anyone's guess. The prevailing logic is that Sacramento State is not going to be able to give money to Joshua Wood's company. That's just not going to happen. So then maybe they'll find a workaround. They won't pay rent, but that company can take a hefty chunk out of potential ticket sales. It can collect all the parking revenue, it can collect all of the concessions money. Like, it can make a pretty penny. Well, I don't know how pretty of a penny it's going to be. It is Sacramento State basketball after all, but you get the idea here. There is an incentive for Joshua Wood's company to take in the Hornets, even if it's not directly based on rent. The relationship between the two sides already there, by the way. Let's not forget Joshua Wood served as the co-chair and former CEO of the Sac-12, that collective that was pushing to get Sacramento State into the Pac-12. How'd that go, by the way, guys? Do you know who the CEO of the Sac-12 is now? That would be Raymond Gallo Jr. And what do you know? He just also happens to work for Cospure.
Hey, what a coinky-dink.
Or not. Let's look at Cospure, by the way, because this is a company of individuals woefully unqualified for the positions they hold. They would struggle to put together IKEA furniture, let alone get an arena project off the ground. The worst of the lot just may be Nick Cordano, a person who just embodies everything I loathe about Sacramento. Utterly clueless, a warped sense of self, glossing himself as the Duke of Sacramento with zero real-world experience. This is the dude, by the way, who is responsible for finding people to invest in the Rancho Cordova Arena project. I take it your shady-ass companies aren't doing gangbusters business? And that No Filter Nick podcast of yours just ain't hitting like you thought it would, eh, Nikki? I suppose there is more to this than simply being a Sacramento Kings season ticket holder. Locally famous, mildly offensive? Cool story. I am not famous and highly offensive, so go eat a bag of rotten dildos, you twatopotamus. Seriously though, I just can't believe how absolutely hopeless this collection of individuals who are allegedly going to build an arena out in Rancho Cordova are. This is backed by no real development experience, zero funding, zero ability, zero clues. Joshua Wood's whole thing is that like he collected signatures for the Golden One Center back in the day. He literally claims that his leadership in building arenas, MMA promotion, and collegiate athletic conference highlights his ability. Dude, what collegiate athletic conference have you helped build? Oh, do you mean Sac State's failed attempt to get into the Pac-12? I just get this weird sense of deja vu when discussing this project. I feel like I've been here before, and then it sort of hit me. The similarities between this and Sacramento State's original on-campus football stadium are uncanny. I mean, when you do step back, it does kind of make sense given the overlap of individuals involved, but I just want you to indulge me here for a second, please. On September 26, 2024, the new Sac State on-campus football stadium was announced with a big splash. Almost a year to the day later, September 23rd, 2025, the Rancho Cordova Arena is announced. Now, renderings for the CSUS Stadium wouldn't come until about a month afterwards in October. Early October is when those came out. The Rancho project has its renderings today, but the thing is, neither can explain financing, neither had plans or tangible steps, both involved the Wood brother. Let's just Bill Alfonso this, shall we, and call it right down the middle, daddy. This Rancho Cordova Arena project, it ain't going nowhere, and it ain't getting there anytime soon. Much like Greg Lukenbill tried to do on Bradshaw Road almost 50 years ago now, a collection of overwhelmed, underqualified individuals with dreams of enriching themselves are trying to build a sporting facility by cajoling others into funding it. That aside though, I can see some utility in Rancho Cordova, or really anywhere in the greater Sacramento metropolitan area, having a 7,000 seat arena like this. There are lots of small events that don't make financial sense at Golden One Center, but need something a little bigger than what, the 3,000 out at Thunder Valley. But I do get the sense if this project made sense, Wilton Rancheria would be building it out of Sky River. Like, that's kind of been their MO to develop that land. So I pause and think, well, why aren't they doing it? They do have the money, experience, and know-how to get these types of projects completed. Joshua Wood and his band of capable development partners, wink, they do not have the skills, the knowledge, the experience, the capacity to get a project like this over the line. They can't even get it to the starting line. Anyone can release renders and talk a big game. We found that out with Sac State's on-campus football stadium, eh?
Our region needs to prove that it can do big things. There's a lot of big things that get announced that don't happen.
The hope here for Cause Pure is to find people dumber than they are. That's the deal here. And that they want those really stupid people to give them money. Greg Lukenbill, of course, spent years trying to do the same thing, and that only worked by convincing Sacramento to allow the Natomas farmland around a potential arena to be developed. The trade-off here from the city was, okay, build an arena out in Natomas and we will grant you development rights for all of that farmland. We'll rezone it for you, and that's what happens. This group in Rancho seemingly doesn't have a similar ace card to play. Like, what is the trade-off for working with them? Honestly, if you had the money to work on such a project, you could just circumvent them entirely and build the arena yourself without this group, again, of individuals who really don't bring anything to the table. Apart from an indoor soccer franchise, I suppose, but it doesn't really take much to get one of those. Seriously, the MASL, they are always looking for new teams. They're happy to grant expansion franchises. The bar there is very low. Finally, a special session of scoring for Sacramento's Sad Sac media space. What are you tools doing right now? You know, I'm going to put aside my personal beef with Cody Stark, who I loathe with the intensity of 1,000,001 suns. This isn't even about that. This is about the broader Sacramento media space and not just some personal dislike for an individual. The entire collection of Sacramento media is just not doing their job anymore. Where are the questions about how this is being funded? Where are the questions about how anyone here has the experience to get said projects over the line? Just a reminder, Cause Pure is a developer with 0 previous projects, 0 track record, and a website that's been active for a month or two at this point. Joshua Wood was actually allowed to go on the drive, guys, and promote this. He was then asked 0 difficult questions, and I feel like Kyle Draper is probably just playing online poker. He is totally indifferent to what is happening there. I don't even know if that guy knows where Rancho Cordova is, honestly. It just feels like the entire purpose of this interview was for those two not to work for like 10 minutes, and if that was the goal, congratulations guys, you did it. And don't get me started on Sacramento's news networks who continue to churn out friendly puff pieces, like proud parents rooting their child on at a Little League game. Hey, whatever happened to that Sacramento State on-campus football stadium? You did the same thing there, and then when they pivoted to Cal Expo, no questions were asked. Make no mistake though, the Rancho Cordova Arena project will end just like that Sacramento State on-campus football stadium, or like Luke and Bill's attempts to build a big-ass stadium out on Bradshaw Road. This is nothing more than a fishing expedition to see if some mark is dumb enough to pay these guys to build an arena. An arena for a soccer team in a league that is as stable, maybe less stable, than all of those arena football leagues. A league in which the average per game attendance rarely surpasses the 2,500 mark. Sorry, Rancho Cordova, you may never get this arena, but at least you still have that Straw Hat Pizza. I moved to make that Straw Hat Pizza Rancho Cordova's City Hall. Does Rancho even have a City Hall? I don't know. But while I am finding the answer to that question, why don't you learn more about Sacramento's attempts to lure an MLS side to the city in the mid-1990s by checking out the video in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. And for the wild goose chase that was Sacramento's attempts to build a baseball stadium in the 1970s, that'd be the video in the lower left-hand corner. Until next time, I am Cheyenne Hollis. This is The Touchback. And as always, hashtag take it out to the 25.